Is that just in the photos?
It's just in the photos, yeah.
Gotcha. Hey, how's it going? Again, this is once more Chris Velasco at Engadget doing a live hands-on with the iPhone 8 Plus, which is, honestly, it feels pretty similar to the version that we're already used to, but there are a few key differences. Obviously, it does feature a glass covering on the front and the back. The back is to allow wireless charging. I don't see one of the power mats available here, but that doesn't really matter because you're not going to be able to buy one until next year anyway. But if you've used the iPhone 7 Plus, you really know what to expect. There are a couple differences, though. I'm told it's a little heavier and a little thicker than the 7 Plus, which feels about right. There's a bit of extra density to this, which can be a little tricky, honestly, because the 7 Plus was a bit of a handful at times. This is, by the way, bigger than the iPhone 10, so this does kind of reign supreme as Apple's biggest phone. You do have some decent-sized bezels. I'm having issues with focus, but you do have those bezels running around the top, bottom, and the sides of this 5.5-inch Retina display, but the Retina display has been updated. This does have True Tone, which is a feature that we first saw on the iPad Pro. Basically what we've got there, it has a ambient light sensor that helps you figure out what the lighting situation you're currently in is like, and then you can use True Tone to kind of make it warmer or cooler automatically depending on where you are. So it's a nice touch that we're getting from the iPad Pro. It's kind of long overdue. I'm a little disappointed that neither the iPhone 8s nor the iPhone 10 has the ProMotion, that 120 hertz refresh rate that we got on the the iPad Pro 10.2. But very familiar looking device. It does have an updated dual camera with two 12 megapixel sensors. Let's try out, so I did this with the iPhone 10, or at least I attempted to, but we should have a little more luck now if we try to play with this portrait lighting feature. So let's grab someone's face. We've got one right there. So portrait mode, if you're familiar, is a feature that launched after the iPhone 7 Plus. It was available as a beta for a long time, but then you could get it as an update. This is sort of an extension of that lets you play with light. So this is a standard photo. This is the sort of default look. I don't know if you saw that at the bottom. That was the that was natural lighting. But we sort of head over. It tweaks the facial lighting a little bit depending on where we go. It's got a bit more emphasis on the face, the sort of facial contours. And then if we kind of go even further, what it does is it actually isolates the head and blacks out everything in the background completely, which is actually very cool. This is a feature we're going to be able to use across all of the new iPhones. And it does work surprisingly well. Again, this is, in fairness, a canned display that Apple provided these photos were on the device to start with. But the effects are still pretty impressive. Carlos Lopez says, keeping my iPhone 7 Plus, to be honest. Hey man, I can't blame you. This is a really cool device, but it doesn't necessarily feel like a huge leap over what you're getting with a 7 Plus with iOS 11 when that launches in September. A couple extra things to point out here. We've got the We've got the A11 Bionic chipset inside, which does allow for higher performance across gaming and just sort of general use. I'm swiping back and forth. And this always generally feels pretty fast, so this might not be the best indicator, but we've got a pretty slick AR demo here. I wonder if we can get this going right now for you. Oh, so we've got... somebody's asking, is it the same weight? No, it's not the same weight. It's a little bit heavier than the iPhone 7 Plus. I would say, however, it is an upgrade from the iPhone 6s. If you've been sort of sitting on your upgrade for a while, this is probably the time to do it. So we're running an AR application here. It's looking for a flat surface, and there we go. So this is the power of the A11 Bionic chipset. This is we're looking at people sort of milling around the hands-on area, but we've dropped this really insane-looking night guy right here, and we're going to get, we've got some sweet robot bird come in and try and take it out. And as I'm holding this and looking at it, the performance is incredible. It's very crisp, very clear. This is the power of the A11 Bionic at work, and it really is something. It's tough to say exactly how much faster this is than, say, the iPhone 7 Plus. I have one in my back pocket and can't really do all of these things at the same time. But there's a lot to like about this phone. Is it the most exciting upgrade that you've seen? Maybe not. I've got an Apple guy on my shoulder who might disagree with me. But it is a pretty impressive device. Someone's asking about a difference in screen quality between the 7 Plus and the 8. Right off the bat, not seeing a whole lot, but again, this does have a True Tone display that allows you to sort of modify your color temperature based on where you are. Let's actually get this next to the iPhone 8. So these are the two devices. As you can see, the size differential between the 8 and the 8 Plus is more or less exactly what it was with the 7 and the 7 Plus. They're a little bit heavier, they're a little bit thicker or so I'm told, but the difference is mostly negligible. We've got the black models here. Obviously, the iPhone 8 has that single 12 megapixel camera, which does seem to work pretty well. Carlos is asking, is this prone to scratching like the jet black iPhone? That's a great question. Let's actually ask the Apple gentleman. So we've got glass on the front and back of both of these devices. Is scratching a concern, or is this going to be a bit more durable than what we saw with that jet black finish?
It's the hardest glass ever in a smartphone, so it should be an issue.
So in case you missed that, Apple says they've used on the 8 Plus and the iPhone 10 that it is the toughest glass you'll find on a smartphone. So with any luck, it should resist these scratching issues that we did see with that jet black iPhone 7. But yeah, it's a modest upgrade in a lot of ways. It's very fast. It does kind of feel like a 7S and a 7S Plus in a way, but that was sort of to be expected. The iPhone 10 did suck a lot of air out of the room, but these are really impressive little devices. They're probably fair to say the best iPhones you'll be able to get until the 10 comes out. And if you've been sitting, excuse me, if you've been sitting on that upgrade for a long time, which I know a lot of you have been, this is actually going to be a pretty solid way to go. Anyway, I'm going to wander around and try and find some more sweet phones to show off. I'm Chris Velasco with Engadget. This has been our live hands-on with the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. Thank you for watching. And hey, we'll see you a little bit later.